Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode. I'm Mrunmai, and joining us today is Professor Jyoti Tilak, a dynamic senior director and campus head of ICFA Business School, Pune, a UGC NET JRF scholar and economist with over 2 decades of experience. She is an alumna of Gokhale Institute of Politics and Economics. She's been leading IBS Pune since 2019, championing academic strategy and student engagement. Professor Tilak's journey spans research roles at NIBM and Sydenham College to corporate training at with Tata Honeywell and Thyssen Group. At IBS, she taught economics, microeconomics, and wealth management, even bagging the IBSAF Best Faculty Award, a double master's holder with a flair of content creation and translation. Her leadership blends with intellect with inspiration. Stay tuned as we dive into her story. Hello. So let's welcome Professor Jyoti Tilak.
Good morning.
How are you, ma'am?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm great. So let's start with the very first question.
Okay.
So my first question to you is, you've always spoken about IBS being a place where students aspire, explore, and unleash their potentials. So could you share a few examples of how the institutional activities foster this journey, both inside and outside the classrooms?
Okay. So basically, I think IBS is a place where we have a lot of freedom to experiment, both in terms of content and also in terms of understanding the need of the market. So this is one place where experiments happen on two fronts. One is in the classroom, and the other is in the industry or the in the industry through the industry connect. So there are two main things that we do. One is, of course, the syllabus, and the second is our industry connect. We've been having more than 90,000 alumni who have been giving us inputs in terms of what needs to be done, what syllabus needs to be carved out, faculty meeting the students through internships, company guides through internships, and coming back. So the focus is a lot on definitely on the content, on the syllabus. And we've been very fortunate to be able to keep changing the syllabus. We don't need to wait for 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. In fact, as you know, if there are times when we have 6 or 8 months of notice and someone comes, the market somehow sends the signals that we need people to learn digital marketing, for instance, or to learn supply chain analytics. We have the right kind of resources. We make sure that the syllabus gets introduced either as an elective or as sessions by guests, working professionals from industry. They come and do that instantly. So I think we have the our ears to the ground, we have the pulse on the market, and somehow we make sure that we do what is required. We don't do it because you know 5 years later, 6 years later, you would have done something which is of very little relevance. But yes, 5 years or 6 years later, you would have started running on your conveyor belt. Maybe you wouldn't have gone very far, but yes, industry has reached that place and you start with an advantage. So the thing that we at IBS do is, and that is going to surprise you, my faculty learns more than my students do. So even before the students come in, a lot of homework has happened. The faculty does a lot of homework through the readings, through meetings, through industry visits, through connecting with recruiters. So yeah, two most important things that we do is we look at our students as partners who have come with the intent of learning, and second, we provide them with the right environment so that learning becomes student centric. We also understand what the pitfalls are. We know our business of teaching, but teaching for industry is a different cup of tea, and we try and make sure that our students become placement ready. Do we how do we keep our ears and ears open and our hands firmly on the market? We have lots of interactions, and you'll be surprised that in a session, usually of about 30 sessions, in a subject of about 30 sessions, we have at least 4 interactions from outside people, whether it is industry association, whether it is through professors of practice, through alumni who are working in similar fields, and of course finally we have experts who come in. We have plenty of academic inputs, but that's not enough. The second part happens through clubs. So we have 7 to 8 clubs. Earlier on, we had more, but now we've compressed them. And students participate in these clubs. Basically, these are student driven clubs. They have a faculty mentor, and they pertain to areas like finance and economics, IT, HR, operations, marketing, where students come and say, we want to do something like this. And the faculty backs it up. We provide the necessary support, infrastructure, as well as institutional support, and it is driven by the students. Now, this is one place where students get to experiment and try out new things. So, it's not just classroom, there's a lot of hands on that happens. Uh, we are wondering if our students really of late need that kind of hand holding. But we discover that one area where a lot of hand holding is required is because, in areas like communication. This is one area where we find it very difficult to draw the students into conversations, draw them into discussions. It's not because the student is not aware, it's not because they don't have ideas. Of course, they have. It is simply because this is, to my mind, the fallout of the unfortunate COVID times, that we've labeled students as, or students as millennials, Gen Zs, you know and they come with their own characteristics. One of the characteristics which has proved to be a hindrance, an impediment, is communication, or lack of it, actually. So it's it is, for now, for me, the point that I'm looking at is our means of communications are changing. It's not like the students don't want to communicate, but maybe the method of communication is changing. uh, it is going to work if my faculty also changes the means of communication. And to that extent, we stopped using PPTs and YouTube videos and all that long back, because we thought that this, in any case, is something that the students are going to be familiar with. What they are not going to be familiar with is face to face interaction. You might be sitting miles away, but still, uh, at the end of the day, you would want to sit with your friends, with your family, with even maybe with your employer, and have a discussion. And at that time, if you are reticent or shy and not communicating, I think we lose a lot of good resource there. So that is one area where IBS works very, very hard. Not because, like I said, the students are unaware of means of communication, but definitely because not all come from very advantaged backgrounds.
Definitely.
So we have to make sure that at least we bring them on par. The ideas are superb. Many a times it's because you've not expressed yourself, that it's a royal waste of an idea and waste of an opportunity. So we try and make sure that every student, every single student, gets that opportunity. May not be in one class, maybe in another class, but we have faculty mentors who make sure that we draw them into conversations, we connect with them. uh, After they become slightly comfortable, they have the senior students who work as buddies and draw them into conversations through the clubs or through other activities. We actually have an activity calendar. You would probably see something like this, where every month there is something happening, and it's not just in the classroom, even outside. So yeah, we think it's student centric, we think it is required, syllabus, industry, but finally, I think if I'm able to instill a sense of confidence in the student who comes in, then I'll do it. I'll be able to become a manager, a successful manager, by virtue of my effort. Then I think our job has been done. It's not because someone is holding your hand and pushing you to a place. It is because we think you are the right person and you have reached the place. So to that extent, we've been doing Yeah, almost 100% placement. When I say almost, because people don't believe it, but yeah, we've been doing 100% placements for quite a number of years now. uh, our recruiters are not unhappy. They keep coming back. And one thing that they say is, my students might not be very flamboyant and very expressive, but yeah, they are very humble and solid. I think, if we also add a bit of communication to it, maybe our job as trainers, faculty, as an institution, we would have achieved. Student centric, yes, there's a lot of learning, but very frankly, these are steps that we've taken over 26, 27 years. We are learning in the process, and maybe we will also improve our craft over time.
So that means all the ways that you explained are all transforming right now, like communications, teaching methods, learning methods. Everything is just transforming right now.
Absolutely. So, we while the students go away on their internships,
Yeah,
we have a long 14-week long internship, which is the longest in the entire country, and that has also been our USP. We've got a very good feedback from industry, because generally what happens, students come in as interns and they work on some small project. It's time to submit and they are out. So even before the industry people understand what the students are doing, or students understand what the industry is doing, the whole thing is over. So industry is happy because they get, they get to see what the intern is doing. They get some additional help. Sometimes a lot of energy comes into the work environment. It's much needed, because yes, this is the youngest generation who has come in with all of hope and aspiration. Also, the willingness to risk and make mistakes. So, which, as one tends to grow older, one becomes slightly skeptic or unwilling
yeah.
to take risks. But here, the young people come and they say, "Okay, let's do it." Even if there are a few mistakes here and there, I think they get away with it because there is learning involved.
But that's the way you get exposure. That's the way
Absolutely,
you get experiences.
absolutely. So you have a faculty guide, you have a company guide, you have the freedom to make mistakes, you have a lot of energy, and yes, you have a dream, and we are all working towards it. So it's absolutely well received. But we make sure that the students are groomed, informed, taught before they go, because it also helps
Yeah,
them to choose on the electives. you know
very true.
they go there, they get an exposure to all the departments, they see how people in various areas are working, what the impact of, or how the interconnectedness of the departments affects the bottom line for the company. And they say yes, they see a connect which otherwise is disjointed. But when they see that in action, they come back slightly more mature and make more learned decisions in choosing the electives. So that has been useful. And of course, why when I say that, we work towards making, polishing them, my faculty also doesn't sit idle in these 14 weeks. One somehow looks forward to these 14 weeks, because they learn alongside the student. So when I go to an industry to meet my intern, uh, I learn about the industry, I learn about the
Yes.
company, I try to see what's happening in the economy, how is it going to impact. If I'm giving some, if I give them some targets, or the company gives some targets to the students and they're not being achieved, uh, sometimes the student begins to think that, oh my God, I'm not good enough. And at that time, we have to remind them that you've got to look at the
They
macroeconomic
do have the
indicators.
potential.
Absolutely, and look at the macroeconomic indicators. This might be expected in this downturn, or this is something that is going to work, because yes, a few things are happening and they are conducive for the industry. So if you're not working enough, push. So I think somehow we are able to make the student understand that what is happening is not necessarily your fault,
Yeah.
or if you're not able to achieve certain targets, it's maybe we need to look at things differently, some strategically. We need to look at a bigger picture and not just focus on my achievement and my contribution. uh, so the pegs fall in the place, and then maybe you come back slightly wiser. So that is the intention that my faculty makes two visits, encourages the student, and generally we've seen that industry is happy with our interns. And uh, I also see that there is uh, likely to be a change in the pattern of recruitment, in the pattern of studies. You'll see that if you have interns, and industry is doing that in big ways, especially the big four, and even companies in market intelligence, they want to see the work of the intern for a longer period of time, and therefore PPOs are likely to come in. Um, Also, because they've groomed the students according to the need of the company, they would want to have the first, the right on making an offer to our students before opening up to the others. So yeah, I think on the whole we are doing okay. My biggest concern is, of course, uh, like I said, not all of them come from big cities, so that is not a problem anymore, because even industry is moving into smaller two-tier cities, three-tier cities, as because the cost is becoming expensive for the companies to move, stay in mega cities. My students come from all across the country and from all towns and all cities, and therefore it is easy for the companies to pick up my students, and say, okay, you're from the city, we have an office there, and maybe you could go there. So it works both ways, but my only concern is that they should go back with the confidence that if they are put, whether they are put in Mumbai or New York or in Nanded, they should be able to work equally efficiently, and technology is an enabler, so that I mean, I have a student, I'm extremely proud to talk about her. Uh, she came from a small place near Shirdi where, even today there's only one bus which goes there at
Yes.
6 in the morning and comes back at 8 in the evening. And today she has 80 people working under her.
My
So it's close to Aurangabad. It's not even in a big place that she's working in, but she's doing it. And we have people who have started on their own. They've burnt their fingers, taken the risk, but have come back saying, we've started our own unit. So we have people like these. We have students. I mean, we had a student who worked as a porter in the Bombay Port Trust, and absolutely unable to converse, but was all determined to become a manager. And I had asked him, why do you want to become a manager? And he had said, because I want to sit in the chair of the manager. I have seen my manager and I want to be in that chair. So that was the drive. And believe me, he couldn't even afford 2 meals a day, but somehow he made it happen, because he said, I'm putting my mind to it. And he was amazing at supply chain and logistics, because he'd actually seen how the Bombay Port Trust works. So things like these were big surprises. We we think there are many surprises, and we have not been able to make the most of it, but we've not stopped.
So
We
we
keep
can
working
say
at it.
that SIP or the summer internship program helps us or any student to nourish and polish in such a way that it can shape their future
Absolutely,
in a career, as well as
absolutely.
they can aim and experience what they actually want and what they want to study more about.
Sometimes it also, yeah, definitely it helps, because you know what you want to do. That is one place where you just walk in. It's actually like walking into a treasure trove. You don't know what is going to catch your interest. You just have to go with an open mind. So most of my students go there for the first time, and they're not sure about where it's going to take them. For some, it's a accidental discovery. I had a student, for instance, who was dead sure that he wants to do only finance. He went, had to go to a bank and had to do some selling, uh, cross selling, mutual funds,
Yeah.
and he ended up doing more business than the entire branch put together. And now he comes back and he says, I'm going to do marketing. So he discovered something about himself also in the process. So basically, I think the classroom only prepares you up to a certain point, but the internship is one place where you have the guidance of the faculty and expectations of the company guide, new environment. And I think that kind of, like you said, nourishes your interests, helps you discover good things or bad things about the career that you intend to pick up, or even change your path. So that, to my mind, is very important, that the confidence that my faculty is with me, or the institute is with me, that there are processes in place. We have evaluations and 10, 20, 30, 40 at regular intervals. And then uh, if this is not enough, we bring uh, people from outside. We bring industry people, and we say, okay, this is what our students have done in 14 weeks, not necessarily in the same industry, but yes, we would want you to quiz them on this, see if they've understood anything, share your feedback so that they become better in terms of not just choosing their electives in semester 3, but also becoming worldly wise. We actually see a transformation post semester 3. Post semester 3, they become unbelievable. I mean, you think, oh my God, if ideally I would want my students to take a picture on day one and write something about, as they walk into IBS, what their aspirations are, or what, something about yourself on day one and on the day you're placed. You'll see that it's, I don't know, it's not even 180. I would say it is 180 many times over transformation that happens. So, yeah, we really do it. And I think it's also because you see the faculty doing it. Many a times it's easy to just go there, stand there, give a lecture, and come back. But you don't even know the names of your students. They are people. So for us, even if I have to, not that we don't scold our students, of course we do. But fact of the matter is that connect with the student and the concern that the faculty has sets IBS apart. So we managed to do it because we pull you out of your shell, don't want to speak, worried, hesitation is there. But all that goes away over 2, 3 semesters. You really become a different person, and you will be surprised to see how they themselves transform. I have parents calling up and saying, my son is talking in English to a company person today. And I say, yeah. No, he wouldn't even talk in Marathi with our neighbors or our relatives. Today he's talking. That's a big achievement for the family. So I think, yeah, it makes
That's
parents
a
proud.
good achievement.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining us today. If you like this video, please do like and share.